What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Pokemon Rants. There are a few that understand the grind of content creation. And not only that, but live streaming. Doing that week over week, but then year over year. When realizing the perplexity that lies ahead, so many simply choose a different path. Then why, you may ask, do few continue to move forward? It is truly because they want to see things through and through. Joey at Jay's Corner TCG started his journey from the Neo series with Pokemon video games while dipping his toes into basketball and sneakers and more, but only to find that slam dunk for his true passion, which was Pokemon. From hotel rooms, family members' vacant spaces, and now his own dedicated studio, Joey's persistence allows him to follow his true passion and cast that fishing rod of success into the true catch of the sea, which can only be Jay's Corner TCG. So hook up your bait, prep your rod, as we cast our own lines for a great conversation and memorable times. Joey, welcome to Pokemon Wonder.
Dude, thank you so much for having me. The intro is top tier, man. I'm gonna have to clip that myself and put it somewhere. Appreciate you.
Very welcome, my friend. Good stuff. I hope it tied back just a little bit to your upbringing, so to speak.
Yeah, man.
A little bit of the history there with you and the content creation, and made it personalized just for you, my friend.
Dude, thank you so much. I appreciate you having me. I know you reached out to me a little while ago about possibly doing something like this, so I'm glad that we're able to make this happen now.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. So we'll jump in, Joey. I do want to appreciate your time, and of course, everybody here in the chat. It's something we don't get back, and I say it every time, but I'll continue to say it. I'm forever grateful. So thank you for that and donating your time to us. And thank you to your wife and your kids for sharing that with us. So I really
appreciate you, man. Yeah, man. No problem.
So Joey, do us a favor, my friend. Tell us, man, how did you get in? Where was the beginning? Where was that seed that nurtured what we see here today?
Oh, man. So as far as Pokemon in general, I think I've told the story before, but I remember like the first time I got like a pack ever. It must have been 99. My mom came home and she pulled a Venusaur base set pack out of her purse. I think I had been pestering her about seeing if I could get some Pokemon cards, it's we grew up, not super poor, but like not necessarily like that. That was like not necessarily something that we could get all the time. It's just something out of the budget sometimes. But she pulled one out. I was like, I remember I could still remember it. So it's like I must have lit up. So it was a Venusaur pack. I didn't get anything out of the pack. I remember I didn't get anything out, but I did get a Haunter. And Haunter is like one of my favorites base set cards of all time. So I remember that early on. I must have been, I forgot what year Gold and Silver dropped, but I remember getting Gold and Silver for Christmas. And I also that's when I first got a Game Boy as well. I didn't have Game Boy. I had a Game Boy Color. So I went straight to Game Boy Color. Didn't have like the OG games. So Gold and Silver was my introduction into the actual video game side of things. And it went from there all the way till about 2002 and secretly about till 2004, because at that point, like, it wasn't cool to collect it anymore. But I was like, I kind of still like it, guys. I'm just not going to tell you guys that I still like it. From there, 2014 kind of got reintroduced with it with like Flashfire just because of the Charizard chase. Had a ton of fun with that early on. And kind of like, it would be like an on and off type of thing. Like I would still like see it, grab some packs here and there. And, it wasn't until 2019 that I really kind of went full send with it,
I love it. What was that moment like when she brought home that base set pack and she pulled it out of her purse? Was it some special occasion? Was it a birthday? Was it it's just a Friday, after work?
It was just a random day. I don't because I remember getting the fossil like the next pack, not the next pack I got, but another time that sticks out is like on my birthday when she got me a fossil pack, right? And I got the Hollow Dragonite out of the fossil pack. Nice. So like I remember some of these times like really vividly in my head and everything, but that particular time it was just some random night. I must have done something good. And she rewarded me or something like that. So it was a cool time.
Good, man. I love it. Those special memories is really what ties us back to so many moments in our lives.
It's the nostalgia, man. That's what brings us back. As you know, I'm 31 now. I know a lot of us are like either late 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever it is. But I know that like a lot of it has to do with nostalgia or like just coming up with like your kids now too.
Exactly. Love the story. Thanks for sharing, Joey.
Yeah, no problem, man.
So tell us then, again, like I typically do, I like to set the stage, and I want to know kind of what your background is, what your education, what you go to school for, what do you do for a living?
Yeah, man. So as far as education, went to high school here in California, got my AA degree. In college, it wasn't necessarily for me. So I didn't finish. I didn't get my 4-year degree. My wife did. But even with that, getting my AA, I feel like I was like, okay, I'm still like a little bit ahead of everything, because a lot of people, I realized after high school, a lot of people didn't go to college. I was like, oh, wow. And then it was like a big struggle between me and my mom for a little while, trying to figure out like, you need to finish school. I'm like, I don't, it just didn't fit me. I was tired of it. So even now she was like, you should go back. I'm like, oh, maybe now that my brain's a little bit more mature and everything like that. But getting my AA, it was fine. It was cool. Going into work for the longest time, I was an assistant manager at a retail store. Due to COVID, though, that got shut down. That got closed. So was that 2001? After that, I did a pretty long, extensive process into getting hired into a pharmaceutical company that does plasma. So I was there for a little while, but with that, a lot of there was a ton of travel. I was gone for 2 weeks at a time, would come home for a weekend, would be home for Saturday, Sunday, be gone Sunday night, so like a day and a half being here. And that just, it weighed on me more than I had ever thought it would weigh on me. Especially we had our oldest, right? He's 6 years old now. He was maybe maybe around 4 years old around that time. So, even he felt it a lot. So it just weighed on a lot, weighed me down a lot. So I had to let it go. Came to work with my uncle, and his person, right? Yeah. So I worked with him for a while. Recently, I ended up getting a new job, but we used to make fishing lures. We made our magic carps, which were pretty cool. Shout out to Harsby Rome in the chat because she got some of these right here too. So this was a fun experience to make little custom magic carps, a Gyarados pattern, a shiny pattern, and the original magic carp pattern. And right now I work for a soft drink company. I think I mentioned it before, but I'm like, maybe I shouldn't, just because I'm currently working for them.
That's okay. You don't have to.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing right now. And, on the side too, was, able to kind of turn YouTube into a business unknowingly. Like I didn't try to jump into it in that nature. I was just having fun. Like early on in the live streams, it's just me opening packs, doing some giveaways, or I would bring on one of my friends. He would open up some packs. We'd have box battles. We'd do some giveaways. So early on, it was just kind of like that. So I don't know what went off to, trigger me into, turning it into like a rip and ship. But it's been great. I've had a ton of fun. Yeah, the unexpected, and that's good. Not knowing what's going to come from it, but turning it into something is a lot of fun.
And going back to your travel comment, I can definitely relate. I was also traveling a lot internationally for quite some time.
Gotcha.
I had my first son, and there was a day that I was home for the weekend, and he said something like, "Daddy, why do you work all the time? I don't get to spend any time with you."
Yeah,
and it broke my heart,
dude. My son was he would be fine with staying at my mom's house for a sleepover here and there. After that, like he did not want to do that. He wanted to stay home and be around us. So for the longest time, it was like that. So I was like, the long term, it was a good job. It was a good job. But it wasn't worth it. it wasn't worth it in the long
It's
term.
not worth the price.
Yeah,
No matter what they pay you. It's not worth
for me, I grew up without a father as well too. So I'm like that even like hit me harder too. So I was like, no, that's not gonna happen.
Well, same thing. As soon as he said that to me, and there was one other time he made a comment when I was a little bit younger, and I was like, yeah, no, we're done here. So we're changing travel schedules. Like we're changing. Like nope, can't travel. Find somebody else.
Yeah, man, it's
fire me if you have to, but I'm not going.
Yeah. It's a tough one. It's a good decision long term, though.
It sure is. Yeah, kids need us, man. Yeah, I'd rather be a good father than a good employee, for sure.
Yeah, when a company makes you choose between, it's not good.
Well, Jay, before we move on and kick off this, what I know is going to be an amazing conversation, let's just give a quick shout out to the chat here, show a little love.
Absolutely.
I saw Shahib in here early on. iFOMO, it was good to see it. Gonzo came in. Joey sent me. Yeah, no worries, Gonzo. Thanks for stopping by, man.
Gonzo, keep it PG, sir.
Yeah, tonight PG, please. We got a little bit of Drew in here. Number 1 mod in the game. Bierski's in the house. Good to see you, Bierski. Good to see you, Drew. Hart is here as well. Came for the J Magic Heart.
Appreciate you, Hart.
Already knew.
Thank you.
Cassiopeia's in the house as well. Alice in Silverland. Good to see Alice. I know we caught each other on eBay accidentally today, so
that's funny.
Nice to also catch you on eBay, Alice. Yeah. Dragon's Quest. Navi Station. Let's see. BB's in the house as well. Always good to see you, BB. Mrs. A is here as well. Good to see you, Mrs. A. Always. Let's go. Ryan's in the house. Guys, I really appreciate you showing up, coming out, supporting. Dizzy's in here too. Dizzy Hippie.
Dizzy, what's going on, man?
Thanks for coming by, Dizzy. In my research here with Mr. Joey, I saw a lot of Dizzy in the videos. So good to see you here, Dizzy.
Freaking a S-tier mod right there, man. Yeah, thank you to everybody that always comes through to the channel. I always thank you guys. I appreciate the heck out of you guys. But Dizzy, he been out there. Ricky in here as well too. Appreciate you, Ricky. Dragon Quest, you guys. Mystic in here. Thank you guys. Much love to everybody that comes through the channel and then comes over here to support on a different channel as well. You guys are amazing.
Much appreciated, guys. Truly appreciate it.
Yeah.
We'll keep it going, brother. So we're now in. We got your collection going. You paused. Now, I think at some point I heard you say, which is why I mentioned it there in the intros, you kind of came in and you dabbled your toes right around 2010, which puts you at the Neo era. So, but you were more into the video games at the time. Is that right? Did I get that right?
The early 2000s as far as the Neo era?
Yeah, 2010.
2000. Well, that I missed that. So Flashfire is what kind of brought me back in. That was around 2014. So not too long after high school. I graduated in 2011 from high school. So in high school, it wasn't really like a big thing. Although the weird thing is, there's a collectibles show around here it's called Frankenstein's. So I mean, a lot of you guys probably know just from like hearsay. But that's been around, since before I was in middle school. So middle school, we would go there. High school, we still go there. We wouldn't be looking for like Pokemon cards, though. We'd be looking for like either sports memorabilia, just other different types of collectibles because they have a lot more than just Pokemon. But as far as Pokemon is concerned, Flashfire in 2014-ish. I'm pretty sure that was 2014. That's kind of what brought me back in, just because Charizard. I'm basic. Just the Charizard. But on top of that, though, like what else? Like that it brought me back in. But even with that, like it made me get the itch for opening older stuff, and I didn't know like you could still get older stuff. So I went on eBay, I got some jungle packs, fossil packs. Fossil's like one of my favorites from early on, just because that's what I opened up the most.
That's a kid.
So I got some of those. I put a story on. There's a short on one of my. On my channel, right, about a story about me destroying one of the fossil packs that I had. There was a hollow Lapras in there too. Yeah. that was. I put a lot of work into that short just because it hurt, and I'm like, I'm gonna make this into something right here. But it happens, right? Yeah, we were going to Vegas, and it's what I get. I was so careless with it, man. I just threw that pack wherever. But yeah, I mean,
not today, buddy. Not today.
Just a little dabble, because I feel like I would always hit those like moments of nostalgia, and I would want to go back to Even Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh. I think at the time, like those were all available on Netflix, so I'd be binge watching it, and I would hit those like feelings of nostalgia. But then I would kind of like fall off a little bit, not really collect too much. And like I said, it wasn't around to like 2019 that I started getting back into it more serious. And I didn't discover like anything in the community until I was traveling with that job because I had a lot of free time.
Okay.
I'd be watching Rev. I'd be watching literally, you know how he has like 8-hour breaks from back in the day?
Yeah.
Play
the whole thing.
Dude, play it through, fall asleep. There'd be a Rev video going on. So that's what got me more intrigued and more heavy in the community. And it took me a while to even like comment on there too, because I always felt intimidated. Like well, no one's gonna see like what I'm saying. Like there's so many people in here.
The point.
But I branched out to see like a lot of other creators just from like watching Rev. So I feel like a lot of people give him crap. Dude, he brought me in. He brought so many people in. He continues to bring a lot of people into the community to like share this. So, much love to him.
What he does in the community, I think, is far underestimated.
Mm-hmm.
Huge contributions. Huge.
Yeah.
Lots of love to Rev. I still watch him. He does his every other Tuesday box breaks out. I want to see some vintage open.
Yeah, man. I mean,
why not? Yeah, let's take a look. Got some Neo. What are you doing this week? Right? So I always watch it and check it out, man.
Yeah, man. So that's kind of how things came like full circle for me.
All right, but then you also got into Game Boy Advance. You got Emerald. Yeah. Yeah,
dude. Emerald. Just because I love Rayquaza, and I felt like there was a time where I didn't get a chance to play Emerald as a kid when it first came out. So when I hit another one of those points of like nostalgia, right? I was like researching, all right, how do I get a Game Boy SP? Because the regular Game Boy Advance, fun fact, before we go, fun fact, for the Game Boy Advance, you guys remember the original one? I still have it somewhere. I don't know where it's at. There was a Go-Gurt contest, the yogurts, the Go-Gurts.
Yeah.
That if you had one and it said you win, you get a Game Boy Advance. I won one of those. That's how I got it. Yeah, that's how I got it. It was a basic Game Boy Advance. It was like a white with gray. I'm telling you, I still have it somewhere. I'll have to take a picture of it sometimes. No way, yeah, man. That's how I got my Game Boy Advance. And I think it came with the game. It came with like Mario World back in the day or something like that.
Yeah.
But then like I hit another like nostalgia feel. I went to buy a Game Boy SP because it had the built-in light. So I'll be trying to play it like at nighttime. I'm not trying to worry about a light or anything like that. So I got a Game Boy SP. I got Emerald. Yeah, man, I was just starting to play. It was a lot of fun.
That took you back into the games, and that led you back into Flash Fire eventually.
Dude, they go so hand in hand together.
And do you still play it today?
Not as much. The last game I played was Legends Arceus, although I didn't finish it. I think if I got into it, I have a tendency to dive too deep when I'm playing video games, and I'll just play it nonstop. I'm like, I have a very addictive personality when it comes to video games. Like, I need to just not play it. But I think every now and then, if maybe if my son wants to play it again, because originally when we got it, he was still a little too young to figure it out, the mechanics when Arceus came out. But I think at this point now, he could kind of figure it out. So maybe we'll start to play it together.
Said 6, right?
Yeah, he's 6 years old.
Yeah.
So we play like a lot of like, what do we play? He plays Minecraft now. There is he loves dinosaurs. I love dinosaurs, like Jurassic Park and stuff. So we play like Lego, Jurassic World and stuff together, here and there. So maybe we will. Maybe we will.
Okay. Well, my son, as I told you before we started the stream, my son's 9.
Okay.
And just during Christmas of last year, we started playing Legends of Arceus on a Switch. Our first Switch. We loved it. So yeah, I'm in it now. I got my own. Like, yeah, this is great. So we're like sharing details. What did we find and what did we do? Yeah, it's great.
No, I can't wait, man. Because the game is like kind of open world, right? So it's such a different feel compared to any other game. That's why too I was like, okay, if I get too heavy into this, It's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a problem. Let's focus
today, so I can't make it.
I'm already focusing on work, streaming, family. Like adding another thing into it, probably not a good idea.
Yeah, I usually get my gaming in, like heavy gaming, like once or twice a year.
Yeah,
it's usually like on my birthday or Christmas. So, hey, my wife says, "What do you want for Christmas? Just give me some time.
Give me time.
Give me some video games. Let me sit there and just chill out. Get a beanbag chair."
Right, the most valuable thing right there, man. The time.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I love it. I love it. All right, so then that brings us kind of a little bit to the present. We'll skip a few things, but how do you collect and how do you enjoy? Obviously, the streaming, obviously open for everybody else, but do you collect today? Do you have your own collection? What do you kind of do for yourself?
Yeah, man. So, two things to go along with that. Like, I collect. At first, I would just keep my things in ETBs. Like, I would just top load it, put it in ETBs. Didn't matter what it was. It could have been a V card. Like, I was so, like, I didn't know what the hell to do. With that, it would be a V card. I'd be like, cool, top load it, put it in ETB. Yeah. Didn't matter what. Didn't matter what kind of hit.
VMAX from your Evolving Skies box.
Yeah. Man, now, like, dude, if I pull a V, now I'm just like, frustrated, But no, I just I keep things in some binders now too. A lot of people ask me if I could do master sets. I'm like, no, not really. Like, I've gotten to the point where I just collect or go for like a particular card that I want to hit out of that set. I'm not trying to get the entire sets. If I always tell people this now too, like, have fun with it. Open up what you want to open up, but eventually down the line, just grab your singles, which is like kind of counterproductive because I do a rip and shit. But I mean, I'm just like trying to be transparent. Like, don't go overboard with it. Have fun with it, because the game is supposed to be a lot of fun. But just collect what you want to collect, and don't worry about what everybody else is saying, because I feel like a lot of things. Like a lot of influencers now kind of try to persuade people into collecting this or that. Just have fun in what you want to do. Have fun in what you want to collect. But most of my stuff is either in a binder or my son has like a ton of binders as well now too at this point. So I think he has like 3 of them. I think he has more than me. I think most of the time when I open things up, he either just like I just give it to him or that's how it goes.
I fully understand. Trust me. My kids have all my good cards pretty much. I have to have I got one binder to myself now, and I have to keep it as my sacred binder. And
right.
No, FOMO. I'm with you, man. Even though I open a lot of product,
I see FOMO.
Especially, I still sleeve every holo and reverse holo, because then I put it in the boxes and I have to sell it later. And the kids are like, "Here, Dad, here's all my bulk."
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. But I use it. It's part of what we do here. So I sleeve everything. That way, at least it's maintained, doesn't get
preserved.
You're not alone, man. Not alone.
Down the line, you never know. Too down the line,
you never know, man. So, how did you end up hating Flapple so much? I gotta know, man. What was the deal with Flapple? It was a lot of hate there, man.
Dude, yeah, I mean, for F that card. Sorry. So early on, like when I started to make videos on like YouTube and everything, Evo Skies was the first set that really came out when I was starting to make any videos or like full length videos, long form content. And I remember opening up a box of Evo Skies, maybe 2 boxes, and I kept seeing this Apple card, the Flapple, the Appleton. But I was sick of it. I was sick of it halfway through the box. I started just tossing them like, I thought it would just be funny for the video, I didn't, to this day, I'm still tossing them. I've thrown thousands of Flapple and Appletons and Appling cards for sure. And I didn't realize it's like one of those things that you don't realize is going to be a thing on the channel when you're doing it. It's just something that I wanted to do. There was too many in there. It was annoying, and I wanted some hits, and it just wasn't happening.
I see he left your mic space. Unfortunately, we lost it for Flapple.
So it's just because we got a different mic. He fell. Okay. He's right here. He's right here with this microphone.
Okay. I got you.
So we upgraded mics. I didn't find a nice spot for him on here. So he still graces this old microphone right here.
Good old flapple. Yeah,
Put
I
it back
saw it
there.
in the first Evo box you opened. Like you're like, what is this? This is like an apple that flies. Like what are you doing, Pokemon?
Yeah, the worst. Like I said, like I was still like very new into like all of Pokemon at that time. Like I didn't dive into it, like until was that like maybe a year before that. And then I just never really gave it thought. I was just looking for like cards that I knew. I didn't care about the new Pokemon. And it wasn't until a little bit later that I kind of like, really immersed myself into it even more, and started to enjoy like all the different eras and give respect to all the different eras.
Right. Except for Flapple. No worries.
No, yeah, no, not Apple. That will never get any love. I it can't at this point. Like I get called out for not throwing the apple if I pull it. Like even if it's one of the new ARs, like if it's an apple, like bro, you didn't toss it. I'm like, somebody bought these packs, guys. I can't really pull this. If it was mine, it would have been gone. It would have been gone.
Only for the PC.
Yeah,
I fully understand.
It's just one of those things that turns into something along the way, and I appreciate everybody that got on board with it.
Between that and the rainbow wig, which we'll get into later, you got it right there.
Umbreon wears a wig right now. Umbreon wears that wig right now.
That's what it was. Okay. I was wondering. I saw that in your background. I said, does he have flowers growing out of Umbreon? Like, what is that?
It's just Umbreon wearing a wig.
Okay.
It's just Umbreon. No big deal.
Yeah, I think I saw you mention it like about a year ago. Somebody sent you a bunch of bulk like flapples. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I still have some of them in here next to me. Let me see if there might be an ETB over here that has some. Hold on.
You had like a whole handful of it. So yeah, somebody sent me all these flapples not that long ago. Good stuff. Keeping the meme going, guys. Send all your bulk flapples to Jay.
All right, maybe I don't have it over here anymore, but yeah, one of my one of the subscribers, one of our friends in the community by the name of Olympic Peninsula Brick, he sent me a mini binder full of apples, an ETB full of apples. He sent me one of those like fake gold cards, but it was an apple. It was an apple in VMAX. He sent me
those in gold cards.
Bro, okay, so I do have one of he sent me multiple CGC flapples, applins, like from so many different sets. I still have it right here next to me.
The gifts are different though. They turn into something a little special.
Yeah, man. So it was a funny moment. I think I made a short out of that moment too on the channel. So it was a good time,
How has this rip and ship and the mass amount of product you open now changed your collecting? Because it had to impact you somewhat.
Yeah, I think I think I've talked about it on like a stream before too. Like I think to a point it has, I don't want to say jaded me, but it has made me like numb sometimes to like pools that aren't like amazing. So it's like, man, like there was a point about I want to say a year ago, I'm like, am I still enjoying this? And I don't know, at one point, like I kind of got over that and I realized like, no, yeah, I'm still enjoying this, just because I've opened up thousands of packs and I never thought that's like I would have a platform or a time where I could open up that many packs. And that's like a childhood dream, imagine as a kid, thousands of packs in front of you, open up as many as you want. Okay. And like, as it was happening, I think it could have been a combination of me feeling like, okay, I'm getting kind of stagnant with the channel. I think, is it because I'm not having fun? So I kind of started questioning myself, and I'm not exactly sure what it is that kind of brought me out of that slump. I can't remember, but I just remember one time, like on the stream, I don't know what stream it was, that I was just like, I'm having so much fun right now. Everybody's in here like having a good time, vibing. Like, no, like this is amazing. Like there is no reason for me to feel like I'm either not doing enough or that I am not enjoying this. And after that point, I was like, nah, we got to keep this going and like have so much fun. But I think that just kind of goes back to the content creating side of things. You kind of second guess yourself or you're not sure about something. And it could kind of get to you mentally.
Do you know what took you to that space? What made you start to question yourself?
I think maybe I felt like the channel was just getting a little stagnant. Like it was getting too repetitive. But you know what it might have been? It might have been the fact of I started to kind of go into doing more of some of the podcasts that were on my channel as well. So kind of just like break the cycle of, the same thing over and over again. Yeah. Or it might have just been that, I kind of found different ways. I want to say it was like might have been the podcast that broke me out of it. But I think it was being stagnant and, maybe seeing others around me, doing really well as far as the channel growth. But on top of that too, like, and now like I preach it all the time, like, don't worry about like the numbers as far as the subscribers go, because that'll take you into like a bad headspace as far as things go. Now I kind of just I like to stay like just in my lane, enjoy the people that are like coming through the channel on a consistent basis, or that find the channel for the first time ever. Because if you kind of lose perspective on things, that's where things go downhill. That's where you stop having fun. That's where people see that you're not having fun, and they don't want to be a place that you're not having fun into. So I'm glad I kind of recognized that early, and I got myself out of that.
Awesome. Love it. Glad you got out, and glad you're here with us today.
Yeah, man. Me too. Same.
I see a couple of comments there as well. Yeah, I mean, we're sad if you left, and we'd be sad if we lost the community as well.
No, absolutely, man.
It's part of what drives us. We'll dive into that actually here in just a few minutes. But it's not something I think most of us realize would be there when you start a channel. You have different ideas and different perceptions in mind, but once you start moving and you start to connect with these people and you make friends and you start sharing stories and life experiences, it's like, wow, this is the best part. That's
one of the things that I didn't realize, like starting up, like I didn't realize that I would make legitimate connections with people that, through the internet. Like, I don't think I've ever done anything like that before. It's different when like, someone in person and you guys connect on like whatever you're on your Instagram. For me, I don't use Facebook anymore, but at the time when I did, like, when you're connecting like that, but not knowing somebody in real life, but knowing them through the internet and being able to connect with them legitimately, that was one of the best unexpected parts of like starting the channel.
Fully agree. And I'm right there with you. We have difference of opinions though. Dragon's Quest think it was a flapple PSTD, but that's all right.
PTSD for the flapple. Hey, for sure, man. That was part of it.
Never know. We won't call it all out here today. We'll leave some under the covers for another day. All right, I think it's a good transition, Joey. So we'll kind of maybe think a little bit about how do you run this now? And you mentioned in the beginning as a business. Yeah. So at some point, we all realize that even if it's just for yourselves and you're doing it without putting any content out there, you can only spend so much on this. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble. We made a slight little joke about this before we started the stream. But if you're doing it now as for content creation, it starts to open up different thought patterns and different processes around what do you need to do to sustain this going forward. How have you transitioned?
So I think so. At the time, I asked a couple of my moderators at the time early on when I was going to start into like trying to turn it into a ribbon ship. I was like, I at the time I was streaming maybe once every 2 weeks. And I think as far as content goes, it's not good for YouTube to stream like that little. And that's all I was doing. I wasn't putting enough effort into like pre-recorded content just because there was like a lot of moving parts in the background and I just didn't have the time to do it. But I wanted to maximize the amount of times I could do it. And I kind of reached that point. I'm like, okay, like I'm at like the budget I want to be at as far as, opening up product personally. If I'm able to, do the ribbon ship and, people are willing to, go in on that, which is it's a crazy concept to me still. I take part in it all the time, but it's like, okay, would people, have I built a community that would even want to do that? I had a lot of, I don't want to say I lost sleep about it, but I had a lot of thoughts about it just because I'm like, okay, is this the right move? It could, treading that water like that. But eventually I did, right? And I remember the first time I did the rip and ship, when I was purchasing products, you know, I was like, okay, let me set a budget. What I feel comfortable in spending on this product. I got to make sure that I do my best to stay away from that product and use it just for the stream. And for the longest time, I was really good about it. Eventually, I was like, okay, let me rip a couple extra packs. That's why a lot of times I kind of don't like to keep packs around me. Now to the point in the channel, like I can, you know, do like rip those extra packs and, you know, not have to worry about anything. You know, it's fine. Like I leave them there just because I'm like, all right, just in case, let's have some fun with it, right? But there was like a lot of pre-planning, you know, getting the proper business licenses, getting my website done up, making sure that's luckily nobody has Jay's Corner TCG. So I'm like, okay, cool. Nobody has that name, the domain is mine. All that back end stuff, getting ready for it, because I wanted to make sure I could present myself in a proper manner. You know, no matter how much fun we have on the channel, and you know, we goof around. Sometimes it goes from like PG to PG-13. Sometimes R-rated, like if it's too late, you know. Whether you know, we could present ourselves in a certain manner on the channel while we're having fun, but on the back end of things, I want things to be tight. I want things to be proper. I want things to be ready because I don't want to be messing with people's money and not have the proper not know the proper logistics to make sure I could get this done and send it out to them in the timely manner as to like the time it's you know, I promised it to them. Right. So I think there was like a lot of prep on the back end of that, but even with the prep time, like I didn't know what to expect actually going into it. So on the first stream, when I did it, I would find out like, okay, I need a better way to organize people's bags as I'm going through the stream. So like that's always been like a pretty big, not obstacle, but like opportunity to, you know, keep improving.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. Sorry, like my computer just turned off for some reason. I think it went to sleep on me or something.
Yep. Oh, good.
No, but trying to keep it organized and everything like that, you know, separate those from giveaways, or, you know, if someone wins a giveaway and they have an order, you know, putting them together. It used to be pretty time consuming as far as on the, you know, the day I'm shipping out, right? Because I would go through multiple bags and try to condense the bags in order to, you know, make sure everything fits, you know, send it out. So it would take a long time. At this point, it doesn't take as long, just because I think I've been doing it long enough that's, you know, I kind of got it down. I got a system going. I lay everything out. I go through my like spreadsheet of people that paid for shipping, write everybody's names down, pick all the orders, and you know, it's a lot more streamlined at this time. But you know, I've been doing it for over 2 years now at this point, a little over 2 years roughly. So you know, at this point, it's just a lot easier. But you know, the first time I went live and I was like, okay, I'm going to sell things to people. I didn't know if anyone was going to buy anything, you know, presenting yourself and, you know, not knowing whether or not somebody's actually going to make a purchase on the channel. I was like, well, do I sit here for 10 minutes and see if anybody makes a purchase? But with that, I was like, okay, if nobody makes a purchase, we're just going to go do what we were doing before, you know, hangouts, do a couple openings, do some giveaways, call it a day. It is what it is, you know. Right. Nothing is promised. I'm grateful for everybody at this point that's ever made a freaking single purchase on the channel at all. It's mind-blowing, and I'm very appreciative of it. And I think, you know, even now I still kind of get like goosebumps before I go live. I'm like, ooh, like that nervous flutter in my stomach, and I hope I never lose that nervous flutter, because I think that's something that means like you care, like you're excited and you care about like what's about to happen.
Exactly. Yeah. If you ever stop caring, it becomes mundane. Then that's when you know you've had enough.
Right.
No. Did you end up selling out of the first box, or did you kind of have some you saved it for the next one? How did the first one go?
So I had a lot of product when I started. And that's why I caution people, like, you know, just don't go dive deep into it. Like I was still within my budget, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, I could have got a lot less and, you know, been perfectly fine. That's why, like, when you're just going in, you want to dabble with it, you know, but at the time, that's when like Chilling Reign booster boxes were like $70 a box. So I'm like, I should probably get some of these, you know, it's a good price at that time. But I definitely caution a lot of people when they're just starting, just to don't go, you know, too deep into it. Be comfortable with what you're spending on for your channel, and make sure that you're in a position to, you know, be fine even if you don't sell a single pack.
Yeah.
I think we did end up selling like a good amount of things. At the time we did like a battle, like best hit of the stream gets a slab or something like that. I'm pretty sure that's what we were doing for a little while, just to have fun with it as well. And a lot of people came through and supported. I was blown away. It was a lot of fun. I think we did like a lot of Chilling Reign, Evo Skies, and there was probably a Fusion Strike. So those were like the 3 sets I had predominantly at the time. Yeah.
I love it, man. You know, those early days are so exciting. And we look back on those now, and myself included, and we look at those videos like, wow, that was rough.
You know, all the time. I hate looking at the video sometimes. I'm like, oh, I don't want to watch this.
But you know, sometimes we have to just kind of learn and say, well, what do we do wrong? What can we do better? But yeah, I watched some of those old ones. I was like, wow, that was a good character building experience, as I like to call them.
Yeah. I mean, what about for you? How was it like when you started coming up on the channel and everything like that? What were some like things you were worried about, or like how did it start for you?
So for me, a lot of it was I was coming out of the corporate space, so I did a lot of presentations, and speaking in front of large numbers of people was fine. But somehow that was a little bit different when recording and putting that out there on YouTube. It wasn't the same.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I found myself, whether I was, because at the beginning I was pre-recorded and I only had like 1 camera, so like having 2 cameras and all that was far too much out of my range. And I found myself, you know, recording, and I watched it back to prepare myself to edit. Of course, learn to edit as I was editing, and I was like, well, that's terrible. Like, what was that? Okay, let me record it again. And the bad part is you start to learn all the nuances of things like, well, if I do certain things in the video, like I can't re-record opening, you know, 15 packs like that. That was it.
Dude, I burned so many videos that way. I didn't press record. I was like, wow, I hate myself right now.
Way to go, buddy. Way to go.
Yeah.
So I learned to really break things into pieces, and as my background's IT, so a lot of it was in the last 15 years was more around software development. With that being said, I was learning a lot in the corporate world to compartmentalize things and break it into pieces that were reusable.
Okay.
So for me, I was like, okay, well, as soon as I saw where my problem was, like, yeah, I'm not doing those pieces. I'll do this, no video, or excuse me, no audio, no talking. I'll do some B-roll on top of that. That way I know that part's solid, and that I can fix my intros, my outros, my little nuances, and I can do it all, you know, retakes as many times as I want without messing up. So it took me a lot to get to that.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was fun. And I enjoyed the editing. It was fun to learn to edit at first.
Yeah. I mean, so I've always liked, I don't know, I want to say liked is probably not the right word, but the problem solving aspect of things, whether it be like on the back end, like with lighting, or with you know, figuring out the right camera angle, or figuring out an edit that, you know, I just don't know how to do, but I'm gonna figure this out. So like whenever I would do like actual pre-recorded content, I which I do still have some on the channel and everything like that, and I promise I'm gonna get back into it eventually. I keep making this promise to everybody.
Christmas spicy Pokemon either, so
dude. I enjoy like finding the problem and trying to figure out how to do it and be creative with it. It's I think that's one of the best parts about just content creation in general.
I love it, man. And I think if we tie this back even a little bit to what you were speaking to before, I think so many people don't, and even to the intro, really, so many people don't know what it means to run a rip and ship. And I think, oh, this guy's just opening some packs on the stream. They're a big deal.
Yeah.
It's no big deal. So I would love for you, if you don't mind, walk us through what's some of the preparation you have to do prior to stream, sourcing product, preparation, the day of. I mean,
so many hours, you know, looking for, you know, decent deals on product, and it gets harder and harder every single time. Like, you know, there are certain sets that I'm like, okay, this could be the last time we ever rip this set for a decent price, like ever. At this point, especially with Sword and Shield going up, a ton of Sun and Moon products going up. We may never like just have it anymore, because if I did have it, it would be an outrageous price that I just don't feel comfortable. I just don't feel comfortable doing. So a ton of hours. Whether I'm on eBay or if I go to one of my to go to Frank and Sons, I've been able to meet a couple people there, a couple vendors that are I've done business with multiple times at this point. I think we're like more friendly, almost friends, not quite friends, but we're very friendly and everything like that. So being able to help me out with their, like, I'm sourcing product and everything. On top of that, booster boxes, as far as Sword and Shield era go, getting product out of that is just a ridiculous ask at this point, because even Fusion Strike is at what, 200. Evo Skies is ridiculous anyways, but so going through a ton of different collection boxes, opening those to source product, a ton of trash from opening those collection boxes. Like, if I go into my garage right now, there's probably 100 collection boxes. They're just empty right now, and I hate myself for it. And my wife probably hates me a decent amount for that too. But starting to throw them away into the trash can slowly, so that the trash can take it once a week, but not overstuffing it, so we can still have trash for everything else.
Yeah, have room for the kitchen trash.
Oh man, yeah, it's nonstop. It is nonstop with that. So that is something that takes up a ton of time. Like, even the actual opening is the easiest part. The live stream is the easiest part.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, after that, I got to make sure that, all right, get everything prepped up when we're doing shipping, so I can send everything out properly. Making sure I always have enough packaging so that I could send things out shipping. There's been a couple times where, like, oh dang, I didn't realize I don't have any more tape. Oh, I don't have any more bubble mailers. I got to send some overnighted, from like Amazon, which is an extra cost on top of it, which I did not want at that time. So there's like little things add up quickly and weekly. So it's nonstop. And I think that's another reason too that I've kind of not been able to do as much pre-recorded content as I wish I would. So like soon I'm gonna it's just so much that goes into like a stream that soon I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to figure out, I'm gonna limit myself on this stream this week so that I can do some other things for the people that follow me for the next week.
Right.
Because I want to present more than just the streaming as a form of content to everybody that comes through and supports the channel.
Because a lot of your content, as for many of us, were pre-recorded in the beginning. So it was pre-recorded, everything was edited, and then we found that kind of magic gem of just go live. And it's somehow, there's a battle between, and I think I can speak for both of us here, and you tell me if I'm wrong, but there's a battle between, there's something special and enjoyable about pre-recorded content.
Yeah.
That it's so easy to go live. Now, granted, that doesn't mean that, but to your point, the before and after is easy, but it's so much easier to go live and not have to edit all the details out. Absolutely. And spend 10 hours editing a video before you post it, right? So
yeah. I mean, it's true. I remember, early on with the channel, right, the amount of I would have to edit out of talking. It's ridiculous. I'm hoping AI kind of solves that issue at this point now.
They already have, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So AI is going to come in clutch, because not too long ago, thousands of in the course of 5 minutes. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I'm gonna scrap this video. So you become really aware of your quirks and the things you hate about yourself quickly when you're on
watch
camera
yourself
all the time.
In slow motion. You're like, wow, that was really bad. Okay, let me slice that part out.
Yeah. I hate it.
What about some tips? I mean, obviously the sourcing, you spoke about maybe some local vendors, trying to make sure you build that connection. What are some tips you can give maybe the audience on sourcing that they could take away?
So, what I did as Ryan, Cool Trainer Ryan, always has like this, the name of the game, just type in Pokemon on eBay, go to most recent listed. And from there, it's a huge variety of stuff.
Type it off.
Siphon through it. And from there, make sure you save the sellers in which you're buying from. So you could kind of come back to them a little bit quicker because, okay, oh, this person has an amazing deal. I wonder if they're going to continue to have amazing deals. So as you go through it, you find more and more sellers on there. And you kind of, you know, it's like a portable Rolodex. Well, Rolodexes are kind of portable, but going back to it, you know, you got your own little
digital Rolodex.
Yeah, digital Rolodex of people to sell on eBay. That's, you know, they're continuously having, you know, good sales, good deals. I mean, out the top, PF Football Pete is a person that a lot of people, you know, go to as far as product on there. Yeah. And you make sure you're buying from people with a reliable source. You know, I don't think I've ever bought from anybody under 99.7% positive feedback. And I think over like at least 2,000 sales, just because if it's not for me personally, I'm not going to take the risk to sell it to somebody else. I mean, every now and then I've opened stuff for myself and I've took the risk and I've been fine with it, luckily. But, you know, I just don't want to go down that, you know, path, because it's very embarrassing for something like that to happen on a live stream. And I would not want that to happen ever.
Do you find yourself focusing on sealed cases versus individual booster boxes because of that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely prefer getting sealed cases of anything versus, you know, just like a single booster box here and there. Now, for like, if we're doing an actual break, then yeah, I'm just going to go for a single booster box because I don't want to spend like $5,000 on a case of like some Sun and Moon product, you know? And with that, you know, I have to make sure like it's from a good source, from someone I trust, someone I've purchased from multiple times, which at this point I've purchased from so many people multiple times. So I feel a lot more comfortable now. If you're just getting into it, then it's like, you're like, oh man, I feel like I'm taking a risk, but you know, here we go. Let's try this. This person has great feedback. This person has sold so many things. And I've never had a bad, like an issue. Luckily, I'm gonna knock on wood for that, but I've never had an issue. So it just tells me that I'm doing the right thing as far as where I'm sourcing from, you know.
Okay. And if we look at the other side of that, one of the things I can even speak to personally is shipping after a stream. That's a lot. Like, especially if you sold a lot, if you're looking at 100, 200 packages, you're like, Jesus.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, going through that process is a lot. So
exhausting. So for me at this point, like I've narrowed it down to like, okay, guys, this is when we do shipping. So on my site, right, whenever people buy things live, they have an option to hold their bag with me, so they feel like they've accumulated enough items that they want to be shipped out, or they can just pay shipping right away and it'll get shipped that week. But I've had to like go to the point where like, okay, I'm going to do at least 2 openings this week. And after those 2 openings, then it'll get shipped out at the end of the week. You know, it's not going to be shipped out the next day, but I'm always transparent and tell you guys like, okay, this is when the next shipping day is. And it's usually the same day all the time. It's like Tuesday. So that's, you know, it kind of like alleviates an extra amount of, you know, workload on me, and I'm able to like spread it out a little bit more. And it's been working for me, and I think for everybody else as well too. All I do is really like separate all the packages from that day, so that's, you know, they're organized, and then I put them in a box and, you know, pull them back out once they're ready for shipping for the next shipping day.
What do you use for your labels? Where do you buy your postage?
So usually I just buy them straight from Shopify, or I'll use pirate shipping.
Okay. Yeah. Pirate shipping's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've used shout out once again to Ray at Shining Cards and Collectibles. You know, he turned me on to Orange Mailer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that one is pretty close to eBay, you know, card envelope shipping. So I think eBay was 64 cents. I think it's 68 cents.
Nice
for an envelope, you know, 1 ounce or below. So yeah, that helps a lot.
There's a big opportunity for me to just ship plain white envelope for like giveaways, and I never do it. and I always use a bubble mailer, and I pay like the $5 for the giveaway, right? I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make a conscious effort to not do that. Make sure I use an envelope instead, especially if someone has like one card for a giveaway, you know.
Right.
And I'm still over here with a freaking bubble mailer paying like $4 on it. I'm like, this is probably not the smartest thing to do. So I'm saying it here now. I'm PWE for some giveaways now.
Yeah, I moved to envelopes early on. It's for those individual cards. Again, you can only fit about eight cards in a semi-rigid, which I also then put inside of a graded card sleeve.
Yeah.
And I wrap that up. So that can fit in an envelope.
Yeah.
Be under 1 ounce, and you pay 68 cents. Plus, I think it was a total of $1.10 with all the materials. So $1.10, good to go, man.
Yeah, I think I looked. So when I was doing my taxes this year, I think I looked at like the shipping costs. It was a lot.
It was like, ooh.
I was like,
how can I write this off, man? I like, got to reduce my taxable income.
Yeah, man, exactly. Live in California, man. Taxes are no joke around here. I hate it.
All right. So got some optimizations on the front end, some good connections, good ways to buy.
Yeah.
Obviously, the streaming part was slowly became easy for you.
Yeah.
But at the beginning, that had to be also difficult.
Early on, especially too, because like I said, I would only stream a couple times a month, and that was due to the fact that we didn't have the necessary space like in my actual like place. It was too small at the time, right? So I would have to go to my mom's house, right? My mom, she lived in a totally different city, would drive over there, and set up pretty much everything you see here. Like I would set up in the garage, almost everything you see here. Put up my 2 monitors, the lighting, all the audio put together.
Yeah.
And there's a couple. There is a couple of videos on my channel where it says like setting up for my Pokemon channel. There's actual playlist for it. I think it's like 2 or 3 videos.
Yep.
Just imagine doing that every single time and then breaking it all down right after you're done streaming.
I mean, we'll diverge here for a second.
No, it's fine.
What was the reason for that? Like, why would you not just set it up at home? That was brutal.
No space, literally.
Okay.
We were fortunate enough to come into a situation where we now have the space, so I don't have to do that anymore. And it is, I look back at it and I was like, why did I do that? I must have really liked this stuff, so it's like, if you really want to do something, you're going to do it, and you're going to, you're not going to complain about it, or you're just going to have fun with it. I would never say like, guys, I just spent like 5 hours, setting up for the stream and you guys don't come here. I would just be happy there was like anybody there just to, hang out and be part of it. And to me, it was worth it. And now I get to hang out with 50 to 100 people on a stream day, not daily, but, multiple times a week.
Yeah. Well, and when I saw that, which is again why I intertwine that in the intro, because when I see somebody putting that much effort week over week, and month over month, I mean, to tear down and set up your stream setup is a lot, and it's like that's a lot for like once every couple of weeks.
Yep.
Do that for any extended period of time. It's like, wow. All right.
Yeah.
He was serious.
Yeah, man. I was really wanting to put my best foot forward, and when I was able to finally, come in, we have our place now that, I have the space and everything. And I'm like, okay, we're doing this. We're going to do this. We're going to have fun. I could finally really, but at the same time, I kind of slipped into like, okay, I'm going to stick to streaming. And now I don't do very much pre-recorded content. So it's like finding that balance.
It's hard.
And it's very difficult, finding the balance in life. Content and family, the different type of content you want to do. It's such, I teeter this way and that way all the time, and I'm never able to, stay in the middle. Eventually we're going to figure out, we're going to stay in the middle, but, content and, life balance is always going to be, not a struggle, but something that's very difficult to master. And that's why, the yin and the yang. You hit it right, the nail on the head.
Yeah. And we're going to come back to that. I do want to say this here. I see your comment here, Gonzo. And I too felt very skeptical, going back to our previous comments on shipping. To be honest, here's just my own, perspective. I've shipped thousands and thousands of packages with UPS almost exclusively. And I've had less than a fraction of 1% of issues, less than a fraction. And when I did have a problem, whether it was damaged or lost, I put a claim in with USPS, and they've always paid me out.
Nice.
Always. Or the customer. I actually had a customer 2 weeks ago. I said, hey, this thing was damaged. What do I do? I said, hey, you can send it back to me. I'll give you a full refund, and I'll file a claim, or you can file a claim yourself, whatever you prefer. They filed a claim. They emailed me back like a week later, said, hey, they paid me out. Thank you so much. I didn't even know this existed. So don't be too scared. It actually isn't as bad as you may think. It's not as bad as it used to be when we were kids. That's for sure. So it's a lot better than it used to be. The
only issues I've ever had was shipping international.
That is a problem.
Specifically to Australia. I don't know what it is, guys. The only 3 or 4 packages I've ever had lost all went to Australia. And I'm like, am I writing this down improperly? But other times, people get it perfectly fine. I'm like, okay, cool.
I've lost some to Thailand. Shahib, he was here in the beginning of the chat. I've had a return to sender from France. So I've had a few weird things that I've had to navigate. But other than that, especially when it was just like an envelope. If it's a tracked package, it's usually no problem. But if I'm sending an envelope, that's when things get a little sketchy. And when it's international, I always want tracking.
Yeah, definitely need tracking, especially when it's international. Yeah, it's true.
For sure. So what made you, and I think you kind of hinted to this a little earlier, Joey, but what was the reason to start the podcast and that journey you're now going on your own podcast, on your channel?
Yeah, man. So I think it's been about 2 weeks since I've done the podcast. So I gotta, I was actually gonna do a solo one coming up soon, and we're just gonna, I like the way you title yours, Pokemon Rants. We're just gonna freaking go in on like a couple of things that I've seen like in the community, coming in and up to this point too. So that was kind of like what I thought about doing, and then I'll get some more guests coming on soon too. So my channel used to be dedicated to basketball and sneaker reviews because that's another one of my loves. Basketball, I love it. The performance aspect of sneakers in basketball, I love it. I would watch I would watch performance reviews anytime I would get new shoes, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna do this. So I would do some of that right there, right? And we would do like a podcast on the NBA and or sneakers. So we would be talking, whatever's going on within the NBA, whatever's happening within like the new sneaker drops that are coming out. I've kind of fallen off definitely from like keeping up with sneakers just because there, like I said, time. There's just no time to put energy into a lot of other things because of the amount of energy I put into this channel. So I'm like, okay, I gotta step away from doing too many other things if I really want something to work. So we would do a ton of podcasts on that. So I'm like, okay, how can I carry this over into like Pokemon now? And I've been wanting to do it for a long time. I think the first one we ever did was pretty early on in the channel. It just wasn't optimized.
2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years. Yeah, wow. Jeez. And it wasn't very optimized at that time. And I was still trying to figure out the not the logistics, but like trying to figure out the audio situation of trying to run it through OBS and having a Mac, there's a ton of workarounds yet to do because of having a Mac. It doesn't capture a desktop audio unless you put a plugin into the Mac, and then trying to put the right audio inserts for like OBS is a pain. So shout out to one of my moderators, Dub, who's like now a very good friend of mine, for helping me do that on the back end to trying to make sure that it is ready to go when we are actually ready for the podcast. I think we probably have maybe 33, 34 episodes at this point on the podcast, on the channel now too. So that was another, like, just something else I wanted to bring. And I enjoy talking to people and trying to like pick their brain, learn more about them. I'm sure you have like that same curiosity as far as like the peers that you have in this community. So that was definitely one of the big things I wanted to learn more about, because I talk to these people like in chat. We say what's up, but there's never like a face-to-face interaction or a camera to camera, screen to screen interaction. It's as
take
good
it.
as
We'll
we could
take
get.
it. Yeah.
It's as good as
Right.
we could get right now, right? So we'd never have that, and I felt like that was like a missing part, and I wanted to be able to at least be one person. I know a lot of other people have the podcast. My man Gonzo in here has a podcast. I know Poke Knowledge obviously has his podcast and everything like that too. But I just it's something that I had a passion for as well, and I thought that would be like a good addition to the channel. So I really wanted to make it happen, and I'm glad that we were able to do it.
Yeah, I think it's a nice combination. It really gives both perspectives, and I was even a little bit concerned in the beginning about doing multiple types of content. I talked to my wife about it a couple of times. Like, sweetheart, I don't think that the viewers of Ripping Some Packs are probably not the same viewers of listening to a 3-hour podcast. Like,
Right.
That's probably not going to be the same.
Right.
And so I struggle with that. I was like, well, do I do both? Do I just have one per channel? Do I make
Right.
a separate channel just for that purpose? Like, how do I navigate this? So
Right.
I said, well, let's just try it and see. Let's put it on both, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
It turns out there's a big overlap.
Yeah. So I had the same struggle, man. I made a whole separate channel, and I was like, no, I don't think this is the right move. I'm going back to one channel, and I think it's better off that way. I think, like you said, enough people overlap in order for it to work, and enough people have interests in the people that we are interviewing or talking to, that they want to learn a little bit more about that individual too, or they want to get some background on the people that they're watching day in and day out, and not have it be in like a live stream setting where like it's not a performance, but you're more focused on the cards in front of you or what's happening in chat. You're just having fun. There's never like a conversation that goes too deep into like we were talking about me setting up in a garage for previous live streams, so that it doesn't really ever go to that kind of conversation or the behind the scenes type of stuff, which I love. The behind the scenes type of stuff.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's a nice mix. Rip podcast channel.
RIP. Dizzy.
I love it. All right, so you've obviously come a long way, and now you've been doing content in the Pokemon space for 3 years ish,
roughly. Yeah,
your channel's been about 4 years. To your
Yeah.
point, you had sneakers and playing basketball before that.
yeah.
So you've been putting in a lot of effort. Are you going to move to other platforms? Do you start to look other places? Are you going to look at eBay Lives? Are you going to some other things to try to expand what you're doing, at least on the ripping side?
Right. I'm not. So my thought process, I guess not my thought process. Yeah, maybe my thought process is, if I were ever able to do this, full time, it would be off the strength of the content versus what I'm selling. And I just haven't been putting the necessary effort for the content to get me in position for that. So that is the major goal. Like, I love doing the ripping ship. I love hanging out with everybody, but that was never the plan in the beginning. That was never the goal in the beginning. That is just something to that's helped elevate the channel and get more eyes on it, and let people come through and have fun with it. Because it's people love that aspect of it. I do as well. I'm a degenerate ripping packs all the time. Like, let me go get one more pack. That wasn't a very good hit.
I saw you yesterday. Yeah,
dude, man, it was like I was so upset. Yeah, I get that itch all the time.
Yeah.
I'm
not ending like this. I'm going to get more packs.
Yeah, man. You can't finish off like that. You're just like basketball. You always got to end on a make. I got to end on a hit, right? But Instagram is one of my only other platforms that I actively make content on. And I don't see myself, ever going to like Whatnot, to TikTok. I'm pretty sure I have a TikTok with my channel name on it.
Okay.
I don't remember the login. I don't remember the login at all. I'm sure I have a couple.
You don't have a TikTok, then.
Do I have it?
So then you don't have a TikTok.
Yeah. So it's probably there. If you look me up on TikTok, I'm sure it's there. Maybe you can find it. If you can find it, cool. Send it to me. I want to see it too. But I'm gonna stick predominantly to YouTube, and then to IG. I won't ever like do I'll do IG lives, but I'm never on there like selling things. I'm just on there, you having fun, ripping up personal product, whatever, or posting things like pictures or using reels. The reels are a great way to get found on IG for sure. But yeah, we're gonna stick on YouTube. We're gonna see if we can, I have ideas, like brainstorming ideas for the content that I want to make on the channel. Just because I'm like, okay, opening product is not necessarily going to be, I don't think that's going to be the way that I move up with pre-recorded content. So I have an idea of what I do want to do. I just need the time, and I'm getting closer to being able to get that time in order to do it. I think I'm going to try to get that first video that I want to do recorded and edited right before Card Party and put it out, and to see like what kind of reception it gets.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a fun idea, and it'll be an idea that kind of intertwines the pre-recorded content into the next live stream. So
okay. Do you want to drop us a little hint? You want to save it for later?
Yeah. So there's a YouTube channel called Complex, and they deal within like pop culture things. They have a segments on that channel that's called sneaker shopping. So if you guys look up sneaker shopping on YouTube, you'll see what that is, but picture it within a TCG space, within a LGS.
Okay.
Same kind of concept. It's just going to be in LGS. It's going to be me there. And then it's just going to be a little bit of a twist, because whatever is, whatever we get, it's going to be some of the stuff we use for like a giveaway on the next live stream, or,
cool.
So that's why I'm going to try to see if I can intertwine it. So tie it in. And then it'll be like a almost a podcast, a live segment of a podcast, because I'll be interviewing, either the owner of that particular shop or someone that I'm able to bring with me to go sneaker shopping. And hopefully it'll be like another content creator, that will be able to get more in depth about and be like on location type of thing. So like I said, it just has a lot of moving parts to it. But I really think that it's going to be a good idea, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to kind of break the norm of just doing like the openings, which I'm still going to do here and there with pre-recorded content. But I think I want to focus on that idea the most.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
Congrats on the idea, and I think that'll be awesome. It'll be something new to the space, man.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun, and I'm like I said, I hope to get it recorded and edited, and put it out like the week that Card Party starts.
Okay. All right. So everybody, watch out before Card Party. It's gonna be dropping.
We're trying. I'm gonna
Chris
get it done.
I love you, Jay.
Hey, Chris, I love you too, man.
Love it. I see some gifted memberships. Appreciate it. Cardboard Collectibles, much appreciated, man. You didn't have to
let's
do
go,
it,
Cardboard Collectibles.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much.
I appreciate everybody being in here. Thank you, guys.
I see Chef in the house. Good to see you, Chef. Pookie Chef. Walrus is here too.
My man Get You was out here. Appreciate you, Get You. I miss when Wonder was small and would.
Sorry.
Wait, what did he say? I miss when Wonder was small and this podcast from his house. Oh, instead of Dubai.
Dubai. It was my background. Yeah, sorry. I'm poor now. I'm just in the mountains. Yeah, I live in a shack. It's all right.
No
I
more
use some money for Pokemon. That's right.
That's all our problems.
Right. That's all of our problems.
What do you?
Go ahead.
I was gonna ask you. So for your channel, doing the podcast, is there like things you want to branch out into on top of that too, or different platforms you want to branch out to?
So the next step for me in the podcast, other than keeping the momentum going and trying to schedule, which scheduling guests on a weekly basis is a lot of effort, and the research that I tend to put into it is consuming the entire 2+ weeks leading up, if not more.
Yeah.
Depending on the person and the content and what they have out there. So it's very time consuming for me to do that. So I sprinkle in, for me at the moment, once a month, I do a live stream and a giveaway, and just a thank you to everybody in the community. And it gives us a chance to maybe break a box and have some fun. That's just because I enjoy it. It's just a lot of fun.
Right.
But I want to start to edit all the podcasts, which I have a decent backlog now, and I want to put them on Apple and Spotify.
Awesome.
And if I can do that and get myself caught up to the present podcast whenever this occurs, then that'll be my next stage. Then I'll probably do some roundtable type podcasts. I'll do some broader, high level topics and get a couple of brains together to see what the thoughts are, and maybe even some debates, and so expand it a little bit in that space. But I also have some ideas that are outside of Pokemon. So we'll see where it goes. But,
nice.
But Apple and Spotify, I want to expand into that space and take the same content, maybe a little bit edited, because obviously it's slightly different there. You have a different type of an intro, kind of audio based, and kind of guide people through that a little bit. So, and I need to cut out some of the things that you can't see on screen and that don't make sense from an audio standpoint. So,
yeah. I mean, would you ever want to just go into making the podcast all pre-recorded, or do you like the live aspect of doing them?
I thought about that a lot. My first podcast being a live stream is only because I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to do it. So, thankfully so many people had donated their time and was willing to, support me in getting started. But after I saw the interaction in the live streams, that for me, because I watched a ton of other podcasts in other spaces, and that seems to be a nice, I would say, added benefit, and it engages the audience in a different way. And of course, you still can watch it after and enjoy it just as much, perhaps. But that being able to ask a question, being able to interact, comment in the moment, and me try to help, to intertwine that into the conversation when and where appropriate. I think it's adds so much value, and it makes it a us conversation and not just the two of us conversation, right? So
I agree.
I love the pre-recorded. You can do so many things. You can cut out. You can make it look better. You can have higher video quality, 4K. You can do all that stuff because most of the streaming platforms are 1080p nowadays. But I like the chat. So for now,
I agree.
I'll wait for everybody else to catch up and get to 4K on the streaming platforms. And we'll buy a new camera.
No, definitely. I agree with that too, man. I love, I obviously I do mostly streams anyways, and I just I love the
intertwining that.
I love the intertwining of like the people in chat, the conversation. Sometimes I run a Q&A for like the guests or something like that too. It's just a ton of fun. You can't beat it.
You can't really replace that with the pre-recorded content. Walrus says Wonder loves his exclamation rig giveaways.
Hey, Mr. Walrus, what you have to know is that every single giveaway that's ever been done on YouTube is rigged. It will continue to be rigged.
Everything's rigged, Wade, and going to the negative, man. Hey, but you should have gotten your hand-drawn Mimikyu. So that should have gotten to you, Walrus. So let me know if it did, my friend. Hand-drawn with some loving messages in the back. All right, my man. So we're here. We're now moving in, obviously, into the second half shortly in 2024. What are you looking to do? You mentioned this new thing that's going to shift your channel a little bit, but what other goals do you have outside of that for your channel, for your content?
For the channel, so like I said, I do want to put a bigger emphasis on making the pre-recorded content, dialing back slightly. So I think roughly I'm doing about 3 live streams a week. I want it to be down to 2.
Okay.
2 and then 3's a lot. two opening streams a week, and then a podcast about every other week. So that is the goal. And secondary goal on top of that would be to make sure that they are on the same days. I think I've been doing pretty terrible on having a consistency as far as the days that I go live. So I think that's going to be another one of the goals right there too, to get it streamlined again. It was streamlined for a little while. Like it was consistent on certain days. Right now it's not. And I don't like that it's not. I see whose toast is this. Open some personal packs, Jay. It's one of the he's the little guy right here on my shoulder.
He was the guy last night saying, "Go get some more packs, Jay."
Yeah, man.
Come on, man.
And I will too. Make time for them kids, Jay. Jeez, monster recorder, LOL, dog. Yeah, I mean, and that's another reason I wanted to make sure that it's streamlined on specific days. So there's never any scheduling conflicts. I want to make sure that, I'm doing the best for the people on my channel, but doing the best for my family too. And I think since I have been with the new company that I'm at, I haven't been doing a very good job of it. So getting back into like a groove of, okay, these are the days I'm live, whether it be Tuesday, realistically, it'll be Tuesday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Wednesday. I just haven't decided which days they're going to be. So when people can look forward to that, and, dialing back on some of the openings in order to make time to, do a pre-recorded video, like once every 2 weeks, that would be a goal. Like literally it doesn't sound like much, but once every 2 weeks is the goal right now, to have a pre-recorded video on top of like all the live streams. And if I'm able to, down the line, be able to afford an editor, we could definitely bump up the amount of pre-recorded content we put out. But if it's me doing all of it, probably once every 2 weeks is what I could promise.
Yeah, I mean, if you have to do your own editing, I fully understand.
Yeah, man,
no problem.
Yeah, on top of everything, it's just so time consuming. So yeah, a lot of things. I don't really have a goal in mind as far as like sub counts or anything like that. It's more of fine tuning the channel in order to create a better space for everybody, and being able to provide them with more and better content, so that they feel happy to support the channel continuously.
I love it. Yeah, I've never been big on the number stuff too much. I've said thank you, when I reached a milestone to the community, but
yeah,
I don't have like certain celebration streams for a specific number. I don't.
Yeah.
I have fun whenever and try to get back as soon as I can and give as much value as I can every time. And I don't make it okay, it's this time, it's a 1 year anniversary, or I reached this milestone. I just say, hey, what? We're doing it. This is the schedule. Yeah, let's just show up. Let's have a good time. We'll all enjoy. Yeah, and thank you along the way. Thanks to everybody who supports. Right.
Yeah, man. At this point, I feel like I think, I mean, if they don't know, then they should know that I say all the time, like this me on this platform is impossible without everybody that comes through and supports. And
sure.
That's there's so much. It gets to the point where like literally there's nothing I could do or give or say that will ever like give you the understanding of like how much it really means, and how much like any content creator loves you guys. So thank y'all again. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, for sure. And I try to even to take for a moment to, for example, write a personalized message when I send out the giveaways.
Yeah.
Or make sure I reply to everybody who comments and say something. And I'm not just copying and pasting or taking some automated AI generated response. I'm trying to actually say something about that person and thank them for their time and thank them for joining us, and
absolutely,
or their feedback or whatever the case may be. So truly agree with you there, because it
goes a long way, man.
So deeply appreciated, everybody who supports us. So thanks everybody. Yeah, it's you guys. Which I think is a beautiful segue, because you made a comment at one point, and your statement was building community should be what you love most.
Damn, did I say that? I sound very profound, don't I? No, but it really is. Like, if you can't build a community on a platform, then it's like you're making that content for nobody. And whether or not you're doing it for the love, I get it. You're doing it for the love. But hey, I was doing it for the love too when I was in like the basketball space and the sneaker space, but there was no community around it. And it just I just didn't feel right.
Didn't feel connected.
Yeah, you didn't feel connected. The connection, it amplifies everything, and it makes 100%. It makes what you're doing. It makes you want to put even more effort. It makes you want to freaking spend 4 hours to start to put together a live stream and tear it down after. I'm not doing that if there's not an actual connection with everybody. That's what drew me into the space, not just like the Pokemon cards, the actual community aspect of everything too. So, I mean, building your channel should be about building a strong community. It should be about, enjoying the time that you get to spend with these people, because at the end of the day, we have the chance to just be here talking about, a card game, opening packs with a bunch of like friends that we never knew that we would even have. So I don't think that will ever change on how I feel. It should be a big community building aspect of things. And you as a content creator should want to put your best foot forward. And I think that's another reason I want to do the pre-recorded content so bad. It's just because like I want to give them something else. You know, I don't want to fail the people that have been with me and supporting me for so long. And that is another motivation for me.
Fully agree. Fully agree.
Whole time I see you.
Whole time says that.
I heard bad influence in DJs. Hey, he's the best influence of all time. I can't wait to meet him at a card party.
I saw one here from Walrus as well. It says, Jay, do you do any grading? And you know what this water chemical stuff is?
You know, does he know water is a chemical? I do some grading. I actually have like some cards that I have to the side right now that are going to be sending out to get graded. There's like some evolutions that I have out here. So it's a first
nice.
set, Vaporeon.
Those are new ones you got. You just showed yesterday on the stream. Yeah.
This, I have the rest of the stack over here to my right. I don't grade very often. And you know, a lot of times when I end up grading, I probably won't grade all the cards I showed the other day because I lose that personalization. Like I don't feel as connected to the card when I get it graded. I feel like I'm just gonna get it, either sell it or use it for a giveaway at some point. It's more like trade fodder than anything at that point. And any cards that I'm really going to keep, I'm just going to put it in a binder. So that Blaziken I pulled, I'll probably just actually end up putting it in the binder. I already have an Espeon courtesy of someone in my community by the name of Washington, who gifted me one a while back. So I'll probably grade this Espeon. So yeah, a lot of cards that I have, if they have sentimental value, they're not going to leave my collection. But other things I'll either use as a giveaway or trade.
Okay. So I hear you saying when you really do care about it, you actually prefer to put it in a binder. You're a binder man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To me, like I don't know what it is, but every time I've graded something, it's been easier for me to like, okay, I'm just gonna get rid of it. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that plastic separates you from the beauty of the card.
I think so. I don't know what it is. Just send them to me, Jay Ricky.
Problem solved. No problems anymore. No more problems. No more problems.
Oh man, I won't be sending them to him. By the way, I'll send him all his bulk. I'm gonna send him all the bulk that I have. It's about the same. It's about the same.
You get all the flapples. That's what you get, buddy.
Do you grade yourself?
I do.
Yeah.
I grade, but not for me on my PC. My PC is a binder. Like
gotcha.
That's how I collect. That's how I enjoy it. That's my sports cards from when I was a kid, or in a binder. Now I've moved them to a better binder since I've grown up. But that's how I enjoy it. That's how I want to experience cards for me. Very few cards have I bought that were graded that are actually my PC. I can probably count them on one hand. Maybe I have 5.
Yeah, I have like 2 maybe. They're all apples.
Now, the gifted ones, when I get gifted a slab, I keep it no matter what. So it's in my personal collection and it's there. So yeah, I do have some of those, but what I've bought for myself, maybe 3. Graded slabs. That's about it. Yeah,
definitely. I get that.
Rob in the house. Good to see you, Rob.
Hey, what's happening, Rob? Look
Thanks
at these handsome gentlemen. Look at these 2 distinguished gentlemen. Hey, how you doing, man?
Tighten my tie. Sorry. Good to see you, Rob. Hope the family's good. Hope the little one's good. Baby's doing well. Yeah, getting adjusted to dad duty.
It's a big adjustment. I know. I think I asked him the other day too. I think he we might have been. He might have DM'd me. Rob, you might have DM'd me. I was like, man, I hope the fam is good. Hope you're getting adjusted to it because I know it could be a struggle. Could be a struggle.
Yeah. And on top of that, he moved all at the same time. So he moved, had the baby. Yeah,
it's a lot of different moving parts. He's still out here screaming, let's get it, man.
I know, right? It's Coda balls, right? Let's go for it. I love it. Good to see you, Rob. Thanks for stopping by, brother. He says, doing well, boys. Appreciate it. Good stuff, man.
Glad to hear, man.
Which I think, again, not that we plan this at all, but another beautiful segue into mental health. How do you manage this for yourself? You spoke about it just a little bit, perhaps, when you thought about, hey, is this the right thing? Is this what I want to do? But then also burnout, to your point earlier, work, and life and the kids and family, and your wife needs time. I mean, there's a lot pulling at us at different directions. How do you keep your mental health, above water?
Yeah, man, it could be very, very difficult. I think, like I said, I think I kind of alluded to how like I'm either teetering one way or the other way a lot of the times, and it's very difficult to find that middle ground. And I struggle. I'll be legitimate. I struggle trying to find it. As far as like making sure I'm like there with like the family, making sure I'm there with the content and keeping up with people, because like the business side of things, like that's like like a priority, just because I want to make sure that people that place orders they get it in a timely manner and everything like that. So I'm like, okay, I got to make sure that's prioritized as well. But making sure that okay, I have time for my job, making sure I have time for my family. Man, it's sometimes working out is what gets me through it. A workout, getting sweaty, getting getting all out of my system so that I can like be at a baseline, not be so high strung, be at a baseline, just be chill, be calm. I think that's kind of what gets me through it. A lot of times my wife will bring me back and tell me like, hey, we got to make sure we do this and this. We need to make sure we have time for this and this. So she helps me so much. She helps me like with like I'll run things by her like, okay, or can I stream this day, and she'll be like, okay, we have this day, we have this day, we have this other day. So I do my best to try to work around it. And, sometimes we bump heads. I don't think it's I don't think if a content creator tells you that you've never bumped heads with your wife over the content aspect of things, like they've never done it, I think they're lying, because I feel like it happens no matter what. You could be perfect no matter what. I feel like it's going to happen. So, it has happened. But I think, reducing the amount of times that happens and trying to work together, I think, as the channel has grown, as I've grown as an individual, as she's grown an individual, we've kind of been able to, work out what works best for us. And that just takes time, and patience and communication skills. And it gets better and better every time. Although I'll be honest, I mess up. I mess up sometimes, and we try to bring it back. So it's very difficult to manage, man. It's very difficult to manage. And I think this past year has been the best as far as I have been, as far as content goes, as far as understanding where I need to put the most time goes. And I'm very happy at the place that we're at the moment.
Do you find yourself ever going into a dark place mentally?
You know what? I kind of talked to you guys about the fact that I wasn't sure. Like I had a lot of uncertainty with the channel. I think what I say was like maybe a year ago, something like that. I think I was kind of in a dark place, and I think too much social media kind of put me there. And I can't remember exactly what it was. It might have just been that I felt like the channel wasn't going to its potential. I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I just wasn't allowing myself to be free, if that makes any sense. I felt like I was like containing myself too much. I was being, like I said, too high strung, too much pressure on myself, and it didn't work. It didn't work. And I needed to just learn to just relax and let it flow, let it be easy. I don't know if it sounds proper, like saying it like that, but as soon as I kind of just like let it all go, I felt more comfortable again. I felt like the channel felt like home again. I felt like people were having a lot more fun again. So it's the self pressure. It was never an outside source. It was always the self pressure, or trying to live up to what I thought an expectation should be. And that's why, like with goals, I've stopped worrying about the numbers. I've more worried about what's gonna make people enjoy their time with the channel more. I think that's what it should be. And if you're good at what you do, you will be undeniable. And that's what I want to get to.
Yeah, the best question to ask yourself, whether it's at your job or making content, is how can I be of highest service? Your wife, for that matter, your kids. How can I be of highest service? If you can solve that answer for whatever the situation is, the rest of it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you're adding that level of service and everybody feels that value that you're currently trying to give your time towards, the rest of it's a wash.
Yeah, man. And it took me a minute to get back to like a place where like, okay, I need to remember that I started doing this because I enjoyed it. I want to make sure that I continue to do this because I enjoy it. The moment I stop enjoying it, I shouldn't be doing this.
Exactly.
And you just got to have that, a talk, and then tell yourself, hey man, snap out of it. snap out of it. There's so many people that come through to support you, and you better never neglect those individuals. I don't care if it's 2 people. I don't care if it's 1 person or 100 people. Don't neglect those people. And always give your best foot forward in order to make sure that they have an amazing time with whatever kind of content you're doing.
Fully agree, man. Well said. Well said. And DQ, what I would say here is going back to the comment that Joey mentioned. There's something, and I said this on a podcast previously. I think it was, actually, I don't recall, but it was very specifically about the point of what the combination of working out does for you, both physically and mentally. I do it every day. I either go for a run, I do weights, I do yoga, I do something every single day.
Yeah,
it helps me stay sane. Back to Joey's point, like if I don't, like I'm not the same person.
Man,
like it's night and day. My wife would say, hey, "Did you work out today?" I'm like, nope. Actually, why don't you take the keys and go ahead and go? I said, yeah, I'm going to the gym right quick.
Yeah,
but it changes me. And to your point, you go there and you lift the weights of the gym so you can handle the weight of the world.
Yeah,
and it is something that connects mind, body, and spirit. And I'd recommend anybody, consult your doctor, look at your health issues, all of those things. If you have physical or other abilities or disabilities, I should say, make sure you check with that. But other than that, as a general statement, stay active, stay healthy. You will feel better. You will operate better. You'll be in a better mood. I promise you.
You get to a point where something that makes you feel uncomfortable in the long term makes you feel comfortable afterwards. And you got I feel like you have to put your body through some sort of physical stress in order to get the best out of it. And you see how you respond to it. Are you gonna quit or are you gonna push through? And I love competition, so I'm gonna push through. Like I'm not gonna fail. Like I will make imaginary scenarios in my head on my last set to make sure I get through it. I used to do this, like I used to do 100 burpees in a day. Like there would be like a day that would be like, okay, today's my day that I'm going to do 100 burpees. And, there's no one there to keep me accountable for it except for myself. I'm not going to cheat myself. We're going to go through it. In my head, I'm just making scenarios like, oh, they're going to call you this or that if you don't finish it, like, and I will just run some imaginary scenarios so that I make sure that I finish it.
Yep. And to be fair and to be honest, like nobody wants to go to the gym. Like you don't want to go. I mean, if you do, it's rare. Yeah. It's like, okay, maybe on chest day or something.
Try to get that pump.
Yeah, but leg day, like nobody wants to go on leg day, right? So I mean, it's definitely a push you have to do once you get through it. Whether it's the lie you have to tell yourself, people are looking, so I have to finish the set. Whatever the case is, make yourself do it. Make yourself do it.
I agree.
Yeah. Rob says, Jay, how do you find time for all those thumbnails, man? Always looking fresh.
Dude, every now and then I'll do like a new one, and then I'm able to just like recycle like whatever position or pose that I'm in with a different background. A lot of those happen either late at nights or 5 minutes before the stream is posted. There's no in between. There's no in between. Like today I streamed, right? I had I think the last 2 thumbnails for my live streams are very similar, except that I've done so many of them that I have so many catalog that I can move a couple things, change a couple things on it, and it works.
Right. Yep. It works out pretty well. Do you use Canva? What do you use?
So there's an app on iPhone called Bazart. Okay. I use that as like a basis to move everything around. And then I'll throw it into not Photoshop, Lightroom, in order to edit it to make it look a lot more crisp when it goes back onto like the finished product. To brighten it up, to make the colors brighter, whatever I'm doing. So those two processes. Before, I didn't really use Lightroom at all, and I'm like, man, my thumbnails kind of look, And then I started using it. I'm like, oh, that's what I was doing wrong. So
that's what it should look like.
It elevated it a lot. So
there you go, Rob. Straight from Joey's mouth.
And I always put a lot of pride into the fact that like I do my own thumbnails, or I'll do my own edit work. So I like knowing all aspects of the content, so that if I'm ever, it's just me. So I know how to do pretty much anything and everything when it comes to live streaming or editing or doing the thumbnail and everything. But that's just something for me that I enjoy knowing all aspects of what I'm doing.
In that regard, Joe, do you think you're going to have a hard time giving away editing or giving away other pieces?
Yep, definitely. I'm not going to know how to go about it. I've thought about that multiple times. I'm like, so if I ever did have a chance to have an editor, am I going to be able to just sit back and send it, get it back? I'm like, okay, I'll probably be nervous, not nervous, but like I'll have a very nervous anticipation for it.
Tweak this, tweak that.
Yeah. So we'll see if we ever come to that point. I guess we'll find out, but I'm pretty sure that I might have a little difficulty like relinquishing any of like in all control of it.
I know Rev said the same thing when he relinquished his control a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, if you learn Photoshop, Rob, I mean, those are skills you can take anywhere, brother.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you learn Photoshop, you get good at that, you leave the space ever, which I hope you don't.
Yeah.
Then you can take that skill set and do anything with it, man. So those are good things to have in your belt, regardless.
Definitely, man.
All right, brother. I do probably need to fast forward a little bit. Have some stuff I'll have to skip over. I want to respect your time. I think we called it about 2 hours, so we don't have much left. So we'll jump down a little bit, and we'll jump into something I have skipped for a little while just because of time and conversation just didn't flow the way that sometimes we expect it to. So I'm adding back our rapid fire section of our podcast. So.
All right.
So we have now a section that's just general. You answer it how you see fit. A couple words, a sentence, a paragraph. It doesn't have to be just one word, but try to keep it brief and concise.
Okay.
But if you interpret as Pokemon, but if you interpret as something else, that's fine too. Okay.
Okay.
So, best TCG ever.
Pokemon.
Who would win in a fight, Houndoom or Rayquaza?
Rayquaza's whooping Houndoom.
I know Houndoom's your favorite, but I wasn't sure if you could be so one-sided or not. Most interesting story this year.
In like in the Pokemon space?
Yeah, that's your choice.
Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef.
Okay. One thing you would do differently.
I think I'd do differently. What would I do differently? Dang. I have so many ready. Thing I would do differently. Start earlier. Start earlier.
Something your wife doesn't know about you, but should.
Something my wife doesn't know about me, but should. Damn, that's a good one. What doesn't she know about me? I should ask her, what don't you know about me? That I damn.
It can be silly. It can be silly.
That I originally so something surprising that she learned. I like to sing in the shower. I'm not even I'm not even embarrassed about it.
I love it. Now, it may be the same thing, but it sounds like you're not. Something you're not proud of.
Something I'm not proud of. Something I'm not proud of. I'm not. There was a time I'm not proud of the fact that I quit playing college basketball versus I wasn't good enough to play college basketball. I walked away from the team, and that's something I'm not proud of.
You think you could have went there, could have made it if you would have stayed with it?
No, I mean, I did make it, but I didn't enjoy the coach. And I think at that time, I just kind of let either ego or my own self get in the way of it. And that's, as an adult, that's, something that, I look back on. I'm like, that was a stupid move.
Could have changed some things for you.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of basketball, your favorite basketball player in the present?
Anthony Edwards is going off in the playoffs. So I enjoy Anthony Edwards a lot right now, man. As far as new talent, I'm going Anthony Edwards.
Then we got to take it back. Somebody who's not in basketball.
Kobe.
All right.
Yeah.
Your most memorable moment this year?
My most memorable moment this year when my that was last year. She was born in 2023. I'm like, dang, it's 2024 midway through already. Dang. Most memorable moment this year. On stream, I would say when I was able to have everybody over for the 5K celebration. In life, most memorable moments. And I think it was, trying to pinpoint one this year. I think I've been able to enjoy a lot of time with the family. I think that's one of them right there.
I love that. That's a good one. Your best gaming system? Not that you own, just in general.
In general?
Yeah.
Xbox 360, goated.
Oh, man, yeah, that was a good one.
Xbox
Halo
360.
came out. Man. That was good. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, now we're going to do Name That Poketuber. So I'm going to say a phrase or a question, and you name the Poketuber that comes to mind.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. Who do you watch the most these days?
I'm going to say it's probably Rev and Ryan.
Who do you think is going to outlast you?
Oh, man. As far as the big tubers go, I think all of them will. Oh man, I don't know. I don't think they'll outlast me. I think we're going to be on the same. I'm gonna keep going forever. But as far as like people that are in my space that I see on a consistent basis, really putting in that work. I think if I had to go up against like Surge, I think Pokesurge is going to be up there. It's an unsung hero that he's an awesome guy, and I think he'll keep going for a very long time too.
All right, Pokesurge, I love it. Most deserved growth.
I think a smaller channel that is putting in a ton of work at the moment, probably R&D Pokemoners. I love them. They put in a lot of work, effort on like YouTube and on IG. So I hope they continue to keep putting in their best foot forward.
I love it. Yeah.
Oh, he just came in here. I swear I didn't see him. Oh.
Zach Ryder, that was a shout out to both of you guys.
Oh, shoot. That's crazy. That timing, I swear I didn't see.
Timing was perfect. Someone who pleasantly surprised you recently as you watch their content.
I'm going to have to say Professor Metry. Professor Metry has bumped up the quality of his work like crazy. So shout out to Professor Metry. Love what he's doing. He's got another video coming out very soon too, and I know he's going to put a ton of effort into it. So if you guys haven't checked him out, check out Professor Metry.
And by the way, it's a good moment to say, Ryan, thanks for dropping all the links for the other people's channels and showing support here throughout the entire conversation today. Deeply appreciate it. If you want to drop one for Professor Metry, we would also appreciate it.
Get it.
Thank you, man. Yeah, man. Most thoughtful.
Most thoughtful. I'm gonna say Pokeballer Mike, and also as much as he is, the way he is, Gonzo is a very thoughtful individual too. Once you get into a circle, so both those individuals have helped me a lot along the way of my path.
I love it. Beautiful. Who has the best storylines?
Best storyline, Pat. Easily.
I figured you were going to say that.
Yeah.
Most of us were like, yeah, Pat's got it. Who makes you laugh?
Who makes me laugh? Ryan. Ryan makes me laugh. And Gonzo makes me laugh a lot too. Just their humor and their sarcasm. That's the type of humor I enjoy.
I love it. Someone you still admire and look up to?
Trainer Trey. He doesn't do as much content anymore, but he was a big part of my channel and my coming up, and I'm very happy that he was able to open up his brick and mortar shop over there in Canada. So shout out to Trainer Trey.
Love it, man. Who do you think is going to be the next up and coming content creator in the Pokemon space?
Let's see. Next up and coming, man. You know, I'm gonna have to go back to Metry. I think if Metry really is able to put in a ton of work, the editing skills that he has, I think he could turn that into something for real. J Hydrate, yeah.
Let's go check it out.
Yeah, heard it in my voice, right?
You heard it. Yep. Gifted another one there, Cardboard Collectibles. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate that.
Cardboard Collectibles. Let's go.
I know, right? Hodo Jake, show some love there, man. Getting some gifts there from Cardboard Collectibles. All right, last one on this section. Best collection.
Best collection. Man, Rusty. Probably. We haven't seen the full extent of it, but I've only when you've only heard whispers and rumors of this legendary collection, that means it is something else. You know, we've seen hints of Ryan's, we've seen hints of Rev's, but you know, I'm going off word of mouth. I've heard some crazy things. I know Gem in Pokemon is probably up there as well. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Rusty. Rusty's collection is just. Yeah, you probably cannot beat that, man.
Everybody's like, man, if you go see Rusty's collection, whoo. Everybody has something positive to say, that's for sure.
Yeah, man. Shout out to TCA Gaming. If you guys don't know,
Mr. Rusty, surely. Yeah. I FOMO. Not that we need to, but please drop a link there for TCA Gaming, man. Great person. Truly humble, truly honest, sincere, just really good person. I'm so glad we have him in the community.
Yeah, man, he's a big staple. I've purchased a couple of things from him. He's one of those people I'm like, okay, I purchased something from him. I don't really have to worry about this.
I don't need to open the box. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'll wait until the day of. Like, I'm not worried about checking it. Like, we're good. We're good. All right, man. So we'll move into the last section here, and as we often do, it's on the personal side. We'll wrap it up with that. Are we still good maybe for a few extra minutes, or are we at a hard stop? Okay.
You good. Okay.
So I know you were born in 93, right? So you just had a birthday last month.
Last week. Okay. Yeah, almost a week ago. Last Friday.
Okay. All right. I know it was right there on the edge. I wasn't sure if it was the end of last month or the beginning of this month.
Yeah, so May 3rd. May 3rd is it.
Okay. And were you only child, or?
Yeah, it was me and my mom, and that's it.
Same here, man. Yeah, it was just me and mom riding it out, and I've told this story 1,000 times, so I won't ruin anybody here. But yeah, it was the same. It was a great, I would say, mother-son relationship, and going through that, and of course navigating the difficulties and everything that came with. But I wouldn't have had it any other way. It was wonderful, man.
Yeah, man. And it's one of those things for me in hindsight. I'm like, wow, it was It was a ride. It was an experience just because,
Mhm.
it was a lot of ups and downs,
Yeah.
and a lot of things that we got through together. And I think we have, I think we have a very interesting relationship to this day. It's very different, compared to like my wife's and her mom's relationship. I think because I feel like we almost kind of grew up together, like me and my mom, because
Mhm.
she was, she had
Yeah.
me when she was fairly young too. So it was such a different dynamic. And
Mm.
it's a lot different today too. Like we could talk openly about a lot of other things that I feel like, some people don't feel as open to talk about, with their
Yeah.
parents.
Yep, for sure. And anytime exactly, right? Death angels, moms are the real heroes for
Yes,
sure.
sir.
Um, and to that very point, that the amount of work they had to put in, and we realize this now as adults, but the amount of
Mhm.
work they had to put in as a
I
single
don't
parent,
I don't understand that. I don't
it's
understand how
like,
I'm here.
wow, wow, it's massive. And for me, I'm sure you could probably say the same. When you look back on those moments growing up, the number of people that helped you or your family out, whether it was your friends and your friends' parents that let you stay because really
Mhm.
you needed to because mom was
Yeah.
busy or working,
Yeah,
or
man.
family members that kind of really helped out in those moments when it was families coming to visit, but not really. It was
Right.
families coming to help, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
Many of those moments, man.
too. I remember spending a lot of summer times at my grandma's house,
Mm,
and that's just because it would just help my mom out a lot if
yeah,
she was able to watch me, so she could work, and like not necessarily have to worry about feeding me every single time, but to save money to get things done. She took me out of as far as the school system goes, a terrible school system, and put me in a very good school system. I'll put it this way, guys. When I left the school system I was at, I was in, I think, fifth grade. I came to this new school and they evaluated me as reading at a first grade level.
mm, mm,
By the time I was done with high school, like I think I took 1 year of honors English in high school, right? And I was able to, navigate that well in a high school that was ranked very high in the US, whether, in public schools, it was ranked very high. I was able to, catch up as far as math and reading. I hated school, but,
yeah, same.
I got a lot better at it. So it's, it's just one of those things that you don't think about in the time. And I see how people, just go down the wrong path, especially in a single parent household.
Yeah, for sure. It's so easy, and the mom or the dad, whoever's there, is struggling just to put food on the table and pay the
Mhm.
bills, and they to manage all the details of your social life as a kid, and to your
Yeah.
point, get you in the right school, get you in the right surroundings. It takes a lot, and
Mhm.
again, we can look back on that now and really appreciate the sacrifices they made for us. So,
Absolutely, man.
shouts out to the moms, and
Yeah.
as he
It's
said, it's
almost
true
Mother's Day.
heroes.
It's almost Mother's
That's
Day.
right. That's right. Make sure Sunday coming up, I think it is, right? So
Yeah.
make sure Sunday you get your mom, your wife, your grandma, whoever it is that's still around. Yeah, you show the love. Show love to moms
Absolutely,
for
man.
sure. So tell us maybe a little bit about how you ended up, because I know we're going to jump to this in a second. Now you got a beautiful family and you're living what many people would call a dream, and I would agree. Um, how did you meet your wife?
I don't mean my wife. So we went to high school together.
Okay.
And it was funny. Like I always tell her this too. I remember the first time I saw her, like, because she went to a different middle school than me, and we had this thing called because our mascot in high school was a Brahma, so it's a bull,
Okay.
basically, right? So we had this thing called Rodeo Roundup. I remember going into it as a freshman, and I seen her walk by, and I was like, I was like, "Oh, who's that?" You know, I didn't know
What's
who
your
she
name?
was, right? Fast forward to senior year, never talked to her, never interacted with her. We became friends senior year, and then we kind of got into the same friend group and everything. So that's kind of how we met in high school because we had similar friends. And then we went out to college. We both were seeing other people, and I think it wasn't until like midway through college that's we kind of uh finally linked up,
Advanced
and our
relationship.
friends were like,
Yeah, finally.
They just gave us a little pat on the back, and so it was a long time coming, and we've just as we got married 6 years ago, so 2018 we got married, right? So we've been married for quite a couple years now, so and growing together, we've learned a lot about each other, and I think we've gone through like a lot of ups, a lot of downs, and I think we've gotten a lot stronger, and it's been something that I will never ever forget or wish it happened any other way.
What's one of the things you like most about your wife? One of the
Well,
qualities.
she's over there washing dishes right now, so she takes care of me a lot, so I appreciate that. Hold on. No, it's a double-edged sword right here, because I love her attitude, and then sometimes it comes back to bite me in the butt. And her sense of humor as well too. She'll say some things, and I'm like, "Did you just say that?" And she's like, "What?" And then I'll say some out of pocket things too here and there. So I think it's like when we're in that type of space together, it's really fun.
And it's a beautiful moment to laugh together. That just brings everybody together.
Yeah, I agree.
So then you had your two kids. So as you said before, about 6 years old and 9 months old, roughly speaking, right? Yeah. And are they both boys?
No. So my older one is a boy, and then our younger one is a girl. So we got one of each, and
nice.
We're done.
That's it. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, we both said that's it. Yeah, that's it.
It's funny. We were watching Jordan Peterson. He came through Charlotte this week, so we went to go watch him speak, and it was a
nice.
great time. Yeah, very, very good. And we were sitting there, and he was at part of the speech where he was talking about children and them growing and how you become a parent and raise the children. It's some of the same things you probably heard if you listened to any of his content.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife looks over at me, and I think she's serious. I haven't asked her, to be honest. So I need to go back and confirm, but she says, "Baby, I want to have another child."
Yeah,
and I was just like, "What?
like for real?
right now?" Or
is this like an in the moment type of thing, or
this is where you gotta tell me exactly what you want, because this can go very wrong if it's not clear. But no, she looked at me and she said, "Yeah, I want to have another child." We have two, so
okay.
I was like, all right. Well, let's talk about it after the show.
After the show. He said, "We got to circle back to this a little bit later." No, I understand that, and I think for us, we were just like, I think there would have been a question mark. Is this it? Like, if it was another boy, because I really, I wanted one of each.
Right.
First of all, I wanted a healthy baby, first off and foremost. Yeah. But if I had the choice, I'm like, okay, one of each, ideal, amazing. So I'm very happy that we were super blessed that we were able to, be fortunate enough to have that into our family.
Yeah. Having healthy kids is such a blessing. And, I'm very thankful for that. And that's actually what my point was. And I apologize, I wasn't very clear.
No, you did.
It was because we didn't have the girl.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's why we were thinking about having another one, because we wanted to have boys and at least one girl.
Got it.
Because she wanted to have the girl to, do the girly things, and two boys. It's just, it's a lot of testosterone in the house. So.
Right. What's funny about that too is like when we found out that we were going to have a girl, my wife was like, "I don't know if I know how to be a girl mom. Like I've just been a boy mom." And then it more recently, our daughter's hair has gotten long enough that you could put like a little clip in it with like a little bow. And she was like, I was about to cry when I put the clip on her, and she looked so cute. I was like, oh my God, this is, so
you got it.
Be able to share those moments too. Yeah.
I see Dragon Quest is heading out. No worries, my friend. Thanks for stopping by. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the support, the time, and get some rest. Yeah.
Appreciate you, Dragon Quest.
Yeah, man. See, Crystal jumped in the house too. Crystal, great to see you. Appreciate you hanging out. Great supporter, long time now. Really appreciate you, Crystal.
3 boys and a bonus daughter. They're a handful. I can imagine. I can imagine. Boys are something else.
And 4 kids. Yeah.
In total, yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot. Hats off to you, Crystal. I don't know if you heard us earlier, but we're saying hats off to the moms. So
yeah, shout out to all the moms.
Happy early Mother's Day to you, Crystal. So what are some of your favorite memories with the family? I mean, you've gotten to build some great things now, and it's obviously at this age they're getting to the point where you can really interact with them. And to your point earlier, your son's old enough to maybe start playing some fun video games with you now, and you get to have
Yeah,
a
man.
deeper conversation. So what are some of those good memories for you?
I would say my son has recently started to play basketball now too. So, I was one of those guys. I'm like, all right, I'm doing everything in my power to not want to push him one way or another. He started off with baseball. He just finished his baseball season. He's like, I don't know if I want to continue with baseball, but I do want to do basketball. I'm like, all right, cool. We can like dive into that and have fun with it. I didn't want to like push him too much because I'm like, okay,
You know how it feels. Yeah.
I don't, yeah, and not necessarily actually. I don't know what it feels like, but I see other parents when they push their kid too far one way, then they end up hating whatever they're gonna do.
Right.
So I was like, okay, let's, we finally put him in basketball. My wife was the one that ended up putting him in basketball, so shout out to my wife on that. And now he kind of wants to do it more so. So I'm like, okay, let's try it out. I keep telling him I got to get a basketball hoop because we don't have a basketball hoop at the house, right? So I got to buy one so I can put it up so I can practice like shooting with him. There's a park down the way that we need to start going to start dribbling.
Perfect.
So that's something that I'm like looking forward to. But at the same time, I'm a little nervous about because I've coached before, but I've never coached that young before. So I'm gonna have to look up some YouTube tutorials to figure out. I know what I'm supposed to be teaching. Ball handling is just the main thing, but some drills that help them get to that point because I've only worked with kids that were like 10 years old and older, so they've already kind of like gone through a bunch of different drills. They kind of understand what they're doing, but I want to figure out how to get him to that point. But
Nice.
that's vacations we've gone to in Arizona to visit my wife's family. There's been so many like birthdays that we've been able to spend time together, growing as a family together. I think the amount of growth that we've had over the past year is exponentially bigger than any other year, and I think I feel like I attribute that to the fact that we had a daughter, and we had to tighten up even more, and learn how to be parents to two different kids. So I think growing together has just been like an amazing time, an amazing experience as well too.
Yeah, that second one changes things.
Yeah, the dynamic is a lot different, and like right now, she just fell back asleep. I think in the other room too. So it's like, all right, she's asleep right now. She'll be awake maybe around 10 o'clock to eat. Maybe 9 o'clock around to eat. Go down again. Hopefully, she doesn't wake up too early. But once now my son sleeps through the night. He was terrible. He was terrible at sleeping as a kid, but now we have the baby, and she's waking up and everything like that. So trying to go through that again, whew, it's a kick in the butt. It's a kick in the butt again.
Yeah, for sure. Dizzy says, Joey's like, hell yeah, let's get to balling.
Yeah, man. It's time. It's that time.
Walrus says, my parents pushed to a profit business, and now I hate it. I prefer to lose money, right? we know, Walrus. You just want to throw it all away. And Crystal says, yeah, I'm excited. Kids turning 3, start putting them in sports. It's a great time. It really is.
I agree.
Now, granted, there's a lot of logistics, especially the drive-in, and that's where it gets really complicated. And we've got to experience that over the past 2 to 3 years because with 5-year-old, we started to get him in sports a little bit early.
Yeah.
And we're like 2 different things, and it's like after school, and we have this other activity, and then we have taekwondo, and it's like, oh my god,
so
we
much.
take cars and split directions, and yeah, it's a lot. So
ton of things, man.
Buckle up, Crystal. Buckle up.
4 of them.
It's good. Exactly. It's gonna be fun. All right, and you're still in California, is that right? So I mean, you were previously somewhere else, though. You were living, I forget where.
So when I was in other places, that was because I was traveling for work. So I was born and raised in California. A lot of those earlier videos that it was me recording in a hotel room. It was just after work. I found places to get products, or I bought product online and had it sent to the hotel. And there should still be a vlog of me shopping around a city in Colorado. And that's where I was doing a lot of doing just like pre-recorded content over there because I had time.
Right. It's easy when you're traveling and you just go back to the hotel room by yourself and say, well,
Yeah, like,
I'll do a video.
Why is there so much time? Because I'm by myself.
Exactly. Well, what do you look at now as you look forward for the family and for yourself? What are some of your goals personally outside of this content, outside of Pokemon? What are you looking to do, Joey?
We've kind of talked about possibly moving out of California just because it is so expensive around here. And I know her parents moved from California because similar reasons, and they wanted to go to Arizona. So maybe a move in the works down the line. On top of that, we haven't been able to take a vacation together in a while. So that would be a nice thing to do very soon. And I think, with the new job that I have too, it's paying a lot more than previously when I was working with my uncle too on a more consistent basis. So that's, I think after a little while, it's going to start to put us in a position where we're like, okay, we can just go do what we want, and I told her a while back, I'm like, I think, we should be in that position to just like have fun and do whatever we want. Just because I think, I know I did put a struggle on us when I left the previous job. And then I went because it was traveling a lot and I went to go work with my uncle because it was promising up front, but in the long term, it just wasn't working out properly. So I did put that extra stress on the family, unfortunately. But now I'm starting to, get back to the place where I'm alleviating that stress and not causing it. So it's I'm looking forward to the rest of this year and next year too, because I think like along with the channel growing, I think the family's just going to keep growing and getting better too.
I love that, man. Yeah, having that time and bringing that peace of mind.
Yeah,
the whole
peace
family.
of mind, man. That is something that I don't know about you, but like as growing up with a single mom, like she gave me that peace of mind even when things were falling apart, probably.
And you didn't even know. You had no idea.
Yeah.
Even spaghetti was on the table. You had cartoons on the TV. Like you were good.
I hated spaghetti for the longest time because we ate it so much, man.
Spaghetti meatballs video all the time. All the time. Yep. Yeah, but no, I fully agree.
Now I kind of
I do. I actually asked my wife to make it. I was like, can you make spaghetti meatballs?
Right.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I saw you there, Chef. Sorry, man. I missed your comment earlier when we were on the topic. Yeah, playing sports, when you're little, and until you get those parents, that's a lunatic. Don't be that guy.
Yeah, man. Don't be that guy. See it too much. People get in fights over a little kid. I'm like, come on, man. We stop trying to live vicariously through your kid.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, you're done with sports. That's it. You're over. All right, brother. Well, we're gonna wrap it up. Again, thanks for the extra time. I really appreciate it.
Man.
Super big thanks to the wife and the kids for sharing you with us. Again, I said at the beginning, but really, really appreciate your time. Dude, we end with 2 questions, man. 2 questions.
Yeah.
Last 2.
Yeah.
So what I did notice, in overall research and looking at your career and looking at your path, is you've had to make a lot of moves, and because you wanted to try different things, whether you were forced or whether you just wanted to try something new because you weren't happy where you were.
Yeah.
And so many people have a difficult time making that leap to say, hey, you know what, I'm in maybe this career or this job now.
Yeah.
And I'm not happy, or I don't want to be here, or I'm not fulfilled. I want to do something else. What advice would you give somebody that is looking to make that change and they're looking at something unknown and unpredictable, but obviously something's got to change?
You know what? I think we live in a time today where you can put yourself, like you can put your mental states above like a lot of other things. I think, in the past it was like, okay, no, you gotta do this. You got to do that right. This is the only way you're going to do it. I think there's so many different avenues for someone to be successful in today's life that you don't have to limit yourself to doing something that makes you miserable. And you have to be willing. You have to be ready to learn new things. You have to be able to deal with like a lot of new challenges, and you might have to deal with failure. There's been plenty of times where I've failed personally, and you got to respond. You got to respond in the best way possible, and that is, I think, one of the most difficult things in life, because as a human being, we have an ego, and we don't want to think that we are failing. But you got to put yourself, pretty much got to take yourself out of your own body and say, like, no, you're failing right now. We need to make a change. Whatever you're doing right now isn't working, and you have to have enough, wherewithal to make the change and to do it in a manner that's, doesn't hurt your family. It's better for your family. And I've been on both ends. I've done things where, like, okay, it wasn't the best move at the time. I heard it. But, how am I going to bounce back? Okay, I bounced back. We're back on track. We're having a good time. So there's so many aspects to it. But I would say you have to be ready to, like, how do I say it? You have to be able to deal with failure and respond to it with success. And there's no other way, because you will fail when you're trying new things, but you can't give up. You got to keep trying, doing it, and always put yourself in a position to win, and never do that at the expense of your family. I'm saying it from experience. Never do it at the expense of your family. Like I said, I feel like I've done that before, and it was the worst move, and I will never do something along those lines again.
Fully agreed, Crystal. Great answer. Well said. Well articulated. Good stuff. Well, Joey, we'll leave you with this, and we'll give you back to your family, sir.
No, absolutely.
When we leave the hobby, what legacy do you hope that you want to leave in the hobby when you're gone?
I hope that we leave it here for the kids that are growing up right now. Because I used to hate seeing the fact that, targets would be wiped out of product, and, kids wouldn't be able to get the product, just because when we're gone, they're the ones that are going to be here. Collecting with my son has been one of the best parts of the channel that, we don't see, because, we just don't have him on the channel. And, we're going to keep it that way, because it's a cold world out there. And I mean, my son doesn't need to be out there. And it's no shot to any of the, like, father, son, or family channels out there by any means. It's just a personal thing for myself. But being able to collect stuff with him has been one of the best parts of, making the channel, and you guys don't even see it all the time. So, just leaving it here for the next generation, so that's, Pokemon will probably be here long after we are gone. And I want it to be in a good state for those individuals that are still here collecting after we're gone.
Love it. We often say in our family, leave it better than you found it.
Yeah, man. I agree.
I love it. Well, Joey, it's been a blast, as it always is here. And I can't again thank you enough for an awesome conversation. Thoroughly engaging. Yeah, good answers, good information, good knowledge. And I appreciate you sharing. I know we touched a lot of different things and a lot of personal things. So thanks for sharing all your details, man.
I will be more than happy. I'm happy to be here, man.
Everybody in the chat, much love to you all as well.
Thank you, guys.
Deeply appreciate your time. Thanks for stopping by. For anybody stopping by afterwards that'll watch it, thank you so much, guys. If you don't already, make sure you go back. Check out Jay's TCG corner. Corner TCG.
Right.
In the links below.
Always called me Jay's corner. Jay's TCG corner. It's fine.
I don't know what it is. It happens. All the links are down in the description below. Make sure you check it out. Go give a sub, give some love. And until next time, we'll see you on the next Rants, guys. Thank you so much.
Later, guys.